showing up, that definitely changes how this lane could work.
Yeah, well, we see how much Shamu has been suffering down here in the 2v1, but he still managed not to feed away first blood, get decent levels, and now with the help of Abdon, he's, you know, we can see he's willing to contest the wave against Brax. But because Abdon's rotated away, we might see that Eternal Envy has a better time in top lane. But just as we say that TMT, he's going to give away first blood.
Yeah, that was the Frostbite into the Flux from Arc Warden, and the Spike Carapace, even though he had it, they just didn't care. Spark Wraith going to be dodged by Eternal Envy. That's pretty big. He places another one. Eternal Envy's doing his greatest, though, to make sure he does not get hit by them. And yeah, he's going to get a salve as a result, too, with Nyx Assassin coming in. So very good play by Eternal Envy there to not die. But meanwhile, the Bounty Rune control, it is going to be a 3-for-1 favoring J-Storm. Thanks, Mike, thankfully, for Beast Coast able to get the bottom one at least to prevent it from being the 4-0.
I love that from all these really good teams. We're seeing around the 5-minute mark just before. That's when they switch on the aggression, you know, so that teams, they're running away from bounties, they're running away from those spots. So, you know, even if you don't get a kill, you force the other team away. And it's just taking these timings around there. So, you know, you didn't get the kill on Eternal Envy, but you forced him right back onto his tower. So it's great play.
Yeah, and you see plenty of pulling happening at this top lane. I feel like I've seen it at least like 3 different times now, if not more. He's just really trying to make use of the best CS that he can, and it's a struggle just like last game, but I feel like it's at least better. He hasn't died yet, that's the biggest thing. And he has 17 and 7 right now, but Arc Warden also feeling pretty good though. 23 and 15 denies that he's worked with. Middle lane, by the way. Thanks, Mike. It's gonna be a combo here. The double TP from the supports. They are gonna go for the Vengeful Spirit in the end, as TA just has to walk away, so they go for the easy kill.
Yeah, the side of J-Storm, they're the ones thinking about getting aggressive with IX Mike, but they had March sitting in the trees already prepared, and they just TP in the CM, and Kunkka with his level 6. It's such an easy kill for them.
Doom has picked up a Satyr now, and has the regen as a result. Also that Hadouken, or the Shockwave, as it's appropriately called. Crystal Maiden wrapping around top lane. Eternal Envy diving resolution, but Fear is here to help out. And Drow Ranger, you are dead, good sir. Good ma'am. Whatever. TMT walking away. Has a Spike Carapace, only level 1 though. Does have also stick charges. Could come into play. Magic Missile hitting Arc Warden. Slows him down quite a bit. The Spark Wraith hits, and nice job with the Spike Carapace timing. TMT trying to get the turn, but Fear just out of range of that level 2 Impale. So she'll be fine as well. And Arc Warden will just go back to farming. But Drow mentioned at least he hasn't died yet. Well, bit of a caster's curse, I suppose. A couple minutes later, bound to happen.
Yeah, and Eternal Envy actually rotating away from that lane. Now they have their full tri-lane here, and he's farming the jungle. What's interesting about this is I don't think he can actually go to the lane where Brax is, because, you know, Moo, we see he has his level 6. So Eternal Envy's easy food for this Doom. So I think he's just relegated to this jungle.
Resolution comes in. There's that Doom. Necrophos was at full life really to begin this, but again, being doomed up, he just can't get away. So that was, as I stated in the draft, the one worrisome thing with the Necrophos pick into the Doom is exactly that right there. And they cannot respond to it. So the free kill on Necrophos, obviously a good rotation from Resolution as he adjusts with the Drow rotation that you're just talking about.
Yeah, and that feels so bad for Beast Coast, because Brax, they enabled his lane over the Doom, you know. They gave him a support, they put Moo down, and now he's got the kill. And if you look at the net worth, he's just even with the Necrophos. So all the sacrifice the Necrophos.
That was a Reaper Scythe kill at the top lane, it looks like, between Necrophos and Vengeful Spirit. Meanwhile, TA double damage rune taking out a stack as TMT goes down at the bottom lane. But over here, Templar Assassin is being chased by Bryle. He was trying to maybe see what she can get away with at the stack, but realizing quickly that they saw what's up. So instead, Kunkka will come over and begin to clear it. Even going to use that ghost ship, well worth the cooldown. Only 60 seconds after all. A couple Tidebringer procs. He'll eventually dwindle a little fast, but he'll get it.
Yeah, he had a double damage rune on the Templar Assassin, so he thought he'd be able to take it. But, you know, they quickly identified that he was here, and they weren't going to let him have Bryle's prize of these big ancients.
Yeah, Moo's just running at Vengeful Spirit. The level 3 Scorched Earth cannot get away. And obviously Necrophos can't do much to stop that idea, so Easy kill on the Vengeful. She is up quickly, though, thanks to being such a low level. As bottom lane, however, Resolution, he's got backup of Abaddon. Does have Tempest double ready to go. Just needs the recipe for the Hand of Midas. And that'll be online as well. So Resolution already up there competing with the best in net worth right now. And of course, once that Midas comes in, definitely expect that better. Moo, top lane, they're diving. No Doom is ready, but they still want this kill without the Doom ability, however. I don't think it's going to happen. So just softening him up, perhaps.
Yeah, I was going to say what's really interesting is what Moo has done with his build. Usually, you know, you see actual offlane Dooms go fully out into the Devour, but he's gone for the more Scorched Earth heavy build, and that means he wants to be discretion, he wants to be on top of people, as we're seeing a fight erupt out here.
No Doom needed there, just the shift, the combo from Conka as he came over, and we just saw that before as well, the 5-minute rune fight. The 10-minute bounty runes now spawn, and sure enough, it backfires on a Beastco, so Arcane Rune able to be picked up by Eternal Envy, but I gotta say, there's a lot of similarities to last game here, man. It's the Drow's completely struggling. You have the mid hero, in this case, Templar's hero. She's doing all right, but the 3 cores on the other side are all doing very good.
Yeah, because J-Storm, they did exactly the same thing. They ran a tri-lane into this Star Ranger. They pressured her, which they've been able to do successfully. And Moo, who was the one who was sacrificed, he's ahead of the Necros who had a support. This is just not where you want to be if you're the Beast Coast side.
Thanks, Mike. No swap ready. He's only level 5. Is just chilling up here for the time being. I don't think Beast Coast is going to want to defend this even. So he'll just stay nearby, maybe soak up a little bit of experience. And he doesn't have a TP, so that's probably the biggest reason. Ix Mike is playing so scared right now, but eventually the tower goes down and we'll be able to make it out there in due time. Nyx Assassin is level 6, so you see the Vendetta currently active, as TMT is trying to find an opportunity. Can't do that though. As look at the smoke play from Doom and Crystal Maiden wrapping around the middle lane, but somebody drew a line from the Dire team that actually was pretty much exactly spot on, so they clearly saw this.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, Ryoya is really the shining light for the side of Beast Coast. He's going for the Desolator because he realizes his team are struggling so hard, so he might as well hit that big peak earlier on. But now they realize they were here, but just the Doom on top of the TA.
Yeah, she's in trouble. The Doom is taking her down. Eventually the Mystical hits, and the front of Blade Auto Attack finishes the job. Abaddon goes down to the Reaper side. He just buys back. Actually, he's like, all right, I'm good to go. And everyone's back up suddenly for the Radiant team. They also killed Vengeful Spirit, of course, in the meantime. And the back line Sphere's running away from TMT. Necrophos is caught now. Doom was used earlier on Templar Assassin, though, so Brax is feeling pretty good. Also has a Hood of Defiance, so he is extra tanky. Nice dodge in the Impale from Fear coming out. Just a little too fast. And Fear will be fine. So really a 2-for-1 trade, but clearly favoring J-Storm. And they're going to go right back to doing objectives. I don't even think Arc Warden was there, if I'm not mistaken. He was just doing his own thing, farming elsewhere.
Yep, Resolution continuing to farm the whole time, and you know they do manage to find the crown jewel in Beast Coast crown of the Ryoya Templar Assassin. But the thing I really have to praise about that fight is Fear on this Crystal Maiden doing the most damage, just channeling the full ulti over here. It was brilliant. It was onto the Vengeful Spirit as well as the Templar Assassin, so she had no chance of living. It was a really great positioning by him.
Moo wants to live. He's not going to do a good job of that though. 3 heroes collapsing makes it very difficult. So good find there from Beast Coast, only their 3rd kill of the game, but they will take it. That's a 377 bounty gold going the way of Ryoya, so pretty good right there. The Desolator well on its way for Templar Assassin. Of course, has the Blink Dagger queued up next even, so the iconic duo of items that we're used to seeing. I was going to mention a pipe this game for Beast Coast does feel pretty good, and sure enough, Necrophos does have the early Hood. I wouldn't be surprised to see Brax rush a pipe this game with what they're up against.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much magic damage. So honestly, coming from everyone on the side of J-Storm, you're totally right. It is the necessary item here. Vengeful
Spirit playing that position 6 really, as Ix Mike's tends to, just being the true support for the team. So can't expect many items out of him. But what is Drow going this game? The Dragonlance queued up. So last game, I believe, even had the 4 Wraith fans, and then with the BKB and Desperation. Bit of a change of pace here, at least a little better, as the Dragonlance again queued up, and I think that certainly makes sense.
Yeah,
Dire's middle tower
for
is
the side of
under
Beast
attack.
Coast, they know it's not quite as bad as last game. There's no Alchemist who's just continuing to run at them. There's no massively silenced Sven. So Eternal Envy, he realizes he can go for that more standard build-up. He can get items like the Dragon Lance maybe into the full Hurricane Pike. But in the mid lane, they found TMT, and I think he might be able to get away there.
In fact, Necropulse coming in. Reaper Scythe. You gotta be careful there. Almost thought it was coming out for a second on Kunkka, but he had his support. A failboat coming through, and ultimately neither team chasing after the other, but it does seem like this is favoring J-Storm, similar to last game with the Alchemist, Arc Warden with the Hand of Midas, obviously with the way that he can flash farm. He also has the Maelstrom just about finished. These 15-minute bounty runes, by the way. Arc Warden's going for the top one. Nyx Assassin in there with a spiked carapace, though, and he will get the stun to be able to pick it up. So this time it's a 2-for-2 bounty rune split, but yeah, especially once Arc Warden has that Maelstrom, that's where we really start to see Arc Warden accelerate.
So you're right, if this goes like hyper late game, we definitely do favor J-Storm. I agree with you there. But when it gets this mid lane timing, Beast Coast are going to be very strong. And I think that's why we're not seeing that many engagements yet. They're just waiting for Ryoya to have both the Desolator and the Blink Dagger, and I think that's the time when they're looking to take these fights. And I don't know if you've noticed, but the net worth, you know, it hasn't been moving forward for J-Storm. It's moved a little bit backwards in the line of East Coast, but in this mid lane, here's another engagement.
Yeah, that's a collapse, but it is a pipe this time. Doom up on Necrophos, so I don't think he's going to die from it, but he is going to be useless in this fight other than just running around. That's a big collapse for the Radiant side. The Centaur Stomp on top of the freezing field. 2 are dead. The buyback from Nyx Assassin, but Templar Assassin, she went too deep. Doom still activated on Necrophos. It finally wears off, though, and looking to turn things now. Resolution just simply running, though. Mistcoil as well as the Aphotic Shield. He's more than tanky enough. March, no more borrowed timings. TMT is able to finish him off with a Vendetta auto attack. And they do turn for 2 support kills, but man, when you factor in that was a buyback on Nyx Assassin, once again a successful fight for J-Storm. You just see the freezing field damage you mentioned in the previous fight from Fear. I guess this time wasn't crazy as impressive, but still, the AoE synergy was there, certainly.
Yeah, they have this massive synergy, and this time for the side of J-Storm, it was just absolutely cracking bow. Just that bow parallel, it seemed to connect on everyone, just hitting all these Tidebringers. And now he has a DD bottle, so if another fight breaks out, it's going to be even better. But losing Ryoya once again, he was so close to his Blink Dagger that this is so costly for the side of Beast Coast, because they really want to be hitting that strong mid-game timing, and it keeps getting put back again and again and again before they're able to take these fights.
Yeah, Necrophos, you mentioned the pipe earlier. It helped him stay alive, but unfortunately, the whole team wasn't necessarily there and wasn't able to use it as the team, so didn't help in that sense. But Templar Assassin, Desolator, of course, finished as she had in that previous fight. The Blink Dagger and the BKB is that key timing. So yeah, back to your point earlier, sure, this Beast Coast lineup, the mid-game lineup of them, if things start connecting, especially with the Drow synergy, certainly still a lot of hope for Beast Coast. It's only a 2,000 net worth lead for J-Storm. They're looking for a play top lane, but Crystal Maiden's nearby. And thus, Resolution, he's got help. In fact, they're going to return on a Brax now back at half-life. Pop in that Ghost Shroud. The heals on top of it. Does have his ultimate as well, but Prowl will be fine. Brax still just trying to run. Gonna be pulled right back in with the XL. The freezing field coming down, and Brax will eventually fall. They also happen to get the kill on Ike's Mike, too. Playing the Vengeful Spirit, so they thought they had a chance on Arc Warden. Did Beast Coast? Turns out they lose, too, and they get nobody.
Yeah, it's exactly as you say, Breaky. You know, they were the ones wanting to get aggressive. They had the Nyx Assassin sitting on top of that Arc Warden, but the CM, he scouts out the Necros first, and right behind him are the entire rest of his team, and just a quick, easy 2 kills once they're all caught out.
Level 3 Arcane Aura for Crystal Maiden. We cannot forget about that as a spectator. It's hard to tell sometimes, but that is constantly regenerating the mana of J-Storm. And what we stress is somewhat spammy heroes across the board, so they are certainly benefiting from that. As Nyx Assassin, he is going to run right by a Sentry Ward right there, but currently Vendetta active. He's going to run right into them. The dust comes out, and this is what I was fearing for his sake. Crystal Maiden, though, trying to at least go for the turn. Drow Ranger from the downhill, but there's that bubble. Oh, he went out the bubble, and he gets hit, but the Mist Coil actually comes in. It just wasn't enough damage. He stays alive. Eternal Lemon TP away. Get over here, let's say. X marks the spot put down, and Drow is dead. So, 2 dead. I feel like I just said this with the deja vu moment. They try to go for kills themselves, and it backfires.
Yeah, there's just no getting away from this Admiral here of Bryle. Eternal Envy, you know, yeah, you kind of have to feel for the man. He wanted to get that little turnaround, maybe not save the life of TMT, but at least get the Crystal Maiden in return. But J-Storm, they just seem to be bringing more people to these fights.
The bubble, clearly an issue for Drow Ranger, and it saves the Crystal Maiden. Almost did it in the end because he ran out of it the last second, but then again, Baden's there for the save as well. So the team support here. J-Storm, oh, what is this? Templar Assassin gets caught by Doom. Both the hero and the ability.
Okay,
She's
so
dead.
I don't know how much of that you caught, but they were, J-Storm, they were invading this jungle. Mu even blinks forward and blind war stomps. It's not on front of the TA. And then she walks over here thinking she's safe in the meld, but they had the vision for her. And so he just instant dooms her while she thinks she's safe inside the meld. And then from there, it's an easy kill.
Yeah, so that ward was there just before. She just happened to go into a ward that was placed beforehand. Yeah, that's unfortunate right there for the Templar Assassin, but it goes back to, again, J-Storm just preemptively ready for what seems like all of these fights, and slowly but surely, we talked about it's maybe 1,000 net worth, maybe 2,000. Well, it's up to 7,000 now, so now we are starting to get to a point where J-Storm is feeling a little more cozy in this game and what they're dealing with. But I will say the Dota Plus win probability is still nothing ridiculous. It's 63% for J-Storm, so certainly chances for Beast Coast stand. I want to go back to this Necrophos real quickly and talk about his potential next item. He's got the Radiance queued up. He's had it for a while. You think that would make sense here?
I mean, it's a very optimistic item. It's looking towards the scaling towards the late game and being actually a scaling Necrophos instead of, you know, like a utility as we often see from offlaners. And you know, the fact that you're going for it, I think it might mean that you're giving up this mid game, but just as I say that, Beast Coast, they're going for a smoke, they're looking for a kill. They have the Blink Dagger, they have the Desolator, but they're not going to find anything.
Yeah, they're trying to bait out the Necrophos, but I think it's one of those cases, it's a little too obvious. J-Storm doesn't see anyone on the map. Necrophos is pushing past the river mid lane. It's like, we know that these are good players, and obviously they experienced players, so they're likely not going to be doing that. So I'm pretty sure that's what we just saw right there with J-Storm's reaction, or lack thereof for the for that matter. But
so Breaky, Bryle has built a halberd. I know you despise that item.
I don't
think it's an okay game
no. No, I think it's on a mid Kunkka. To me, it actually makes even a lot more sense. Again, that whole safe lane spend threw me off a little bit, but I do think halberd is a great item, and especially against a TA. Like TA, it's fantastic again. So. Absolutely here.
Yeah, it's such a good lineup because, you know, all their damage dealers are rage. And move the Blink War Stomp Doom right here on top of the Necrophos, and he's not going to be able to survive at all. And they're looking for more.
Yeah, why not? Why would you stop? They just lost their big unit as far as there's just overall utility and being able to stand in these fights with the pipe and an aura and everything. So it's Beast Coast doing their best to scramble away now. And J-Storm knows this. They want to try to catch somebody, maybe even TMT if they have the vision, but doesn't look like they do. They still have a double damage room bottled up on Kunkka throughout all this. But instead, they'll settle for a tier 2 tower, as we haven't even talked about Arc Warden. He's, by the way, has a full Mjolnir now, and he just picked up bots on top of that. So 2,000 more gold saved up towards a Butterfly. It looks like what he's thinking about next. Yeah, this Arc Warden, he is well online this game.
Yeah, Ryoya's doing a decent job with the split push, but I think they found TMT once again. Oh, actually, Nice and Pale is going to save his life, so good work there by him.
Well, they'll settle for the Vengeful. She's going to be out for 30. But I go back to, we're just talking about the Heaven's Halberd, we're talking about the Butterfly coming out for Arc Warden, MKB for Templar Assassin, I feel like is a necessity here, but she needs the BKB first, so she's trying to finish that at least. Then maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say, you said we haven't talked about the Arc Warden for a while. That's exactly what Arc Warden games feel like. You know, the rest of his team, they create pressure on the map, and you forget there's an Arc Warden there, and then suddenly he turns up and he's slick slotted, and you're not able to do with him. And that honestly seems to be the case for the side of Beast Coast. He's been making the rest of his side, they've just made all this space, find all these kills every time there's a Doom, and now he's got so many items that anything he could wish for, he has.
Hurricane Pike even for the Drow Ranger. has been finished, of course, for a bit, and she is going to BKB as well. So BKB for these cores is absolutely going to be good on the dire side, as Ix Mike ran into a bit of a trap, aka Doom, and I suppose Crystal Maiden and Batten also nearby to do work. That double damage Kunkka was busy farming elsewhere, but Roshan's still up. I mean, the first game we didn't even see anyone attempt Roshan. The shorter game, of course. Game 2, we're about 25 minutes in. It's definitely something that J-Storm could think about, but I guess looking at their lineup, they're not like a fantastic Roshan team, so no point towards it.
I mean, you might be surprised, but you have the Abaddon as well as the Arc Warden, who are two pretty good heroes against the Roshan, because you can put the magnetic field around you. It speeds up your whole team's attack speed, and if you position it correctly, Roche isn't in it, and then you also get the silence, so Roche doesn't flash, as well as the increased attack speed. So it's deceptively powerful from the side of J-Storm, their objective taking now.
Yeah.
This'll come in handy.
I do like what this TA has been doing, though. Ryoya has just been living in this bottom lane. You can see the line of traps here. So this creep wave, it's not moving at all.
Yeah, notice those down there for a while, Ryoya. He's just needs to finish that BKB. In fact, it looks like he's got everything purchased. It's on the courier, which got to be very careful flying that out all the way over here. Oh, he's found. That's not good. He just tried to TP as well. That's just not good. And so that's on cooldown. They did not find her, though.
They're thinking of buying a gem on March, but he'll have the money for it soon.
Like, they know she has to be somewhere in the area. What's being delivered? There is dust on there, but no, they've given up on trying to find her. They aren't aware that Ryoya went over here, so he's just going to chill.
Yeah, so I think we're both in agreement that J-Storm, they feel like they're in control, but I don't think it's totally over for Beast Coast. We said they had a very strong mid-game lineup, but, you